Hey, what's up, guys? It's AK. First of all, I apologize if I sound kind of weird because I'm kind of sick right now. But anyways, let's get on with this episode of the podcast. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk about what I learned from the book Limitless by Jim Kwik. It's a really good book, and for anyone who wants to learn more about it, be sure to buy the book. It's a really good book. So, first of all, what's the book even about? So, it's about learning and how to maximize your mind's potential. It's essentially about learning how to learn, something we're never taught in school, which I never seem to understand. It's literally a manual to use your brain. That's it. Let's get into my key takeaways from this book and also how I've been implementing it. First thing I learned from this book is that to maximize your potential, you really need to believe you can maximize your potential. You can't think you're someone who can't do anything in your life and expect to become your dream self. If you think you can become someone, you really need to believe it because that opens a door for so many other opportunities. Jim Cook even talks about how our brain can adapt to improving. Our brains have an ability called neuroplasticity. It literally means the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections, essentially in response to learning or experience or following injury. This means, despite what the past may hold for us, we can improve our ability to learn. Second thing I learned from this book is even if you think you haven't achieved something, you really have. Like for example, if you think you can't play the keyboard well just because you failed to play well at your recent concert, you can probably remember several instances where you played it perfectly at home and maybe even at another concert. This should give you a new belief that you in fact can improve in the things you want to improve in. Third thing I learned is you need fuel to learn. What I mean by this is sometimes you wouldn't want to learn just because you don't feel like, but it's during these moments where it matters to do the work anyways. You're not always going to have the perfect conditions to learn, but you need to find purpose in your life to strive you towards learning. You need to figure out why you're put on earth, and that's the only way you can continue doing the things you want to, because this strong sense of purpose will motivate you to learn, and this will allow you to learn even when you don't want to, because that's where you'll find most growth and fulfillment. Another thing I wanted to talk about were the study techniques he gave. He talks about how we should divide our studies into short chunks because this helps us better remember information. He talks about how what we input at the beginning of a study session and at the end of a study session usually tends to stick into our brain a lot better than the middle of the session. So he recommends his readers to take breaks while studying. And this is exactly why I use the Pomodoro method as well. In my opinion, this rule can be applied to everything because this does go against like the concept of flow. And when you're in flow, it's basically like uninterrupted focus. And when you're in flow, taking a break is like the worst thing you could do. So I recommend everyone to experiment with this tip because it might not work for everyone. Lastly, one very useful tip for me has been to picture anything I want to remember. So he talks about how it's easier for us to remember things by associating a picture for it. So for example, if I want to remember a new Spanish vocab word, I'll try to form a picture of the definition of the word in my brain, and this helps me retain the word much better and also for longer. Thanks for this video, guys. I hope you're able to get something from it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.